African disgrace. Wagner mercenaries have failed epically in the sands of the Sahara. A Kremlin conspiracy. The bunker man's former guards and oligarchs are already dividing Putin's throne and seizing the security bloc.
What happened? Why is all of this happening?
Operation Pipe. Russian command has reached a whole new level. Cannon fodder is being herded en masse through sewage pipes.
Operation Pipe. We're trekking through it for about a kilometer, crawling along.
The failure of the special military operation is being discussed even at the state level.
It's the absolute lawlessness going on there. It's beyond any kind of rational explanation, really.
Public anger is reaching a boiling point. In Tuapse, there are rivers of oil, while Ufa and Yakutsk face a fecal apocalypse. People are calling for the overthrow of the Tsar.
We are the power here. We are!
Public affection has cracked. Deputy Milonov was told where to go. This is Dvizhuka, the most honest digest of Russian reality. Give this episode a like, and let's go. An African disgrace or just another Russian-style gesture of goodwill? The Russian Africa Corps, formerly Wagner, has failed epically once again.
Can you imagine? A nightmare. But that's not all.
In Mali, the Tuaregs gave Russian mercenaries a cold shower in hot Africa. The symbolic city of Kidal, a former Tuareg stronghold taken in 2023 with active Russian support, has returned to the rebels. Russian so-called specialists were surrounded at the base, quickly requested a corridor, and fled under enemy escort. The Tuaregs are already having a field day at the Russian mercenary base in Kidal. The day before, rebels shot down a military helicopter carrying Russian mercenaries. No one survived. In addition, Mali's defense minister Sadio Kamara was killed, one of the main architects of the friendship with Russia. The Kremlin, as always, blamed the Ukrainians for its failures. But in fact, it's just another negative success. In the sands of the Sahara. Operation Pipe is full of holes, just like the entire Kremlin strategy. Russian command has reached a whole new level. Now the cannon fodder is being packed into sewage pipes.
He spoke about the need for a breakthrough.
Classic rat-like scurrying, hoping to slip through unnoticed.
Well, Operation Pipe is happening here too. It's about a kilometer, I guess. We're trudging through it, crawling. Then we go and go and go up and down, up and down. What do you think Andriusha and I are doing here? That's right, and here is our water. Some water.
Yeah.
But the underground crew sends quickly. Ukrainian FPV drones and artillery are effectively targeting the occupiers.
I turned on the camera just in time. Birds, where's the second one? Where's the second? Yeah, so how are you doing? Well, one, air, it's dirty. Very. Birds, 653.4.
And then, it's business as usual, catastrophic losses that the Kremlin hides so carefully, openly voiced by the liberators themselves.
They drive us there like cannon fodder. A one-way ticket. They gave us a combat mission that was completely impossible. They sent us under mortars, under cluster bombs.
A wave of discontent has already reached the top. After the hysterics of Z-War correspondents about the chaos in the Russian army, they started talking in the civic chamber of the Russian Federation. Straight-talking Colonel Valery Pegasov laid it all out right at the state level.
The lawlessness that's happening there requires the whole topic of the special military operation. It requires special attention, a special conversation. Because the lawlessness that's happening there, it defies any rational explanation. Military Unit 78986. A regiment from the Aerospace Forces. The commander there is a representative of the ground forces. He was supposed to train the personnel or educate them. And he forced the personnel to clear minefields with their feet. 12 people were injured and 5 of them died. I wrote a letter to Bustrikin about all these violations. A commission arrived there, and the entire regiment command was dismissed.
Payment of financial allowances. There was also a commission. A colonel from the Mojaiski Academy also visited these SMO units. He says he arrived and his hair stood on end. They come to one unit. No one is paid anything. The key word is at all.
The irony is that everything could have been different. They would be sitting at home, going to work, raising children, and everyone would be alive. But instead, Russians chose to die on foreign soil for the ambitions of a senile old man. Putin promised you greatness, but in the end, he's just nullifying his own people. While the Russian Ministry of Death reports their electronic warfare systems are popping Ukrainian drones like peanuts, the reality on the front lines looks, shall we say, different.
What's being shown on our TV screens, what's being reported to the leadership, and the actual picture. These are two completely different realities.
The occupiers have begun to realize that their boasted, unparalleled weaponry is good only for propping up doors in bunkers.
This is an anti-drone gun, but it's like totally fucking useless against drones. It doesn't do anything to them. They made this piece of shit. I can't understand what for.
But if you can still see a drone during the day, at night the invaders face a real nightmare.
Bitch, why didn't I see it at all?
The results of Putin's SMO are quite predictable. While the dictator and his elite make billions from the war, for ordinary soldiers, it's a one-way trip. For the Kremlin regime, these aren't people but an endless resource to be replenished and sent to the slaughter. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die.
There's a literal oil rain in the city. Fuel, oil, and soot are flying from the fire in the port. Everything is covered in black spots.
An oil apocalypse in Tuapse. Instead of May showers, black precipitation has fallen on the city. Trains arrive at the stations literally drenched in fuel oil.
The Tuapse to Adler train, it's just fuel oil here, oil. The whole train is like this. I'm just in shock.
They still can't wash the ash away in the city. People are suffocating, wearing masks.
And while Putin remains cowardly silent, Russians are shoveling the consequences of the SMO.
Look, this barrel right here. We collected from here and also from over there. This was only a quarter full, and we gathered the rest from just this small area.
There's no equipment, not enough people, and environmentalists are already shouting, Tuapse is becoming an exclusion zone.
The way the guys work there, cleaning up this oil by hand, this fuel oil by hand. What era is this? Pre-revolutionary times, probably it wasn't like this. Is our Russia really so weak now that there's no equipment to help clean all this up?
And even though the shore in Anapa is covered in fuel oil, the governor cheerfully reports to Putin that the beaches are ready for tourists. And academician Onishchenko says that Russia is the safest country in the world for a vacation. Against this backdrop, Russians have begun to suspect why the regime is cutting off the internet.
They cut off the internet so you won't see the truth.
This is all fuel oil.
And none of this is shown on the news because it's just too dirty, literally. Oil pours from the sky, the sea is black, animals are dying, cars are covered in fuel oil. This isn't somewhere far away, it's happening right here and now, but the authorities are silent. I saw it with my own eyes. Here, I filmed the video for you, take a look. This isn't AI. It's not Photoshop as they say, it's not staged. Yes, this is a real ecological disaster that I witnessed with my own eyes. If they're silent about it, it means someone is profiting from it.
But besides the fuel oil, Tuapse residents are furious at the authorities because they clearly don't care about the ruins.
For 5 months now, I've been renting an apartment at my own expense. In 5 months, we still haven't been provided with any temporary housing. And now it turns out that Restoring my only home is simply not in the administration's plans, despite the head's loud promises to help the victims.
Patience has run out, and the common people have begun to ask questions personally to the little father Tsar.
Since 2022, I've had a question directly for our commander-in-chief, Mr. Putin. Tell me, is this really normal? When you went in there, did you think about how the population would take cover? Where are they supposed to take cover? Did you think about that? Tell me. Did you realize the population needs to be provided with bomb shelters? Where is our shelter? Tell me. Why are you shoving us into basements? Go into the basement yourself, Mr. Putin. The president doesn't care about civil defense and safety. They're shipping out money by the ton, but they can't build a damn shelter. But we are the power here. We are. According to the 3rd article of the Constitution, and besides, we are citizens here. By principle, we are the masters in this country. We hired them. We hired the president. We hired all these governors. All the heads and mayors, we hired them. Since we hired them, let's fire them already, for goodness sake.
A picture in oil, or rather in fuel oil. While Putin plays at war, people are starting to realize that the manager they hired isn't just failing, he's turning their lives into hell. Russians, maybe it's finally time to march straight to the Kremlin? The throne beneath Putin has begun to wobble. While Russians are fed fairy tales of unity and greatness, things are heating up in the Kremlin. And it looks like they're roasting the old man himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Information about a real conspiracy in the dictator's inner circle is going viral in Z Publics. And a knife in the back. His loyal dogs, the bunkerman's former bodyguards, are preparing to stab Putin. Together with the oligarchs, they decided to seize the security bloc. They are swallowing the system piece by piece. The MVD, FSB, and state holdings are coming under the clan's control. Their people are already in deputy seats. Next in line are ministerial posts and the FSB director's chair.
What will he say? Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do.
The clan keeps the country's top banker on a short leash and through its people is taking over all of Siberia's energy. The cash flows of the dictator's old friends, the Rothenbergs, are also smoothly flowing into the pockets of the new masters. The final chord is in the plans. To place their loyal pawns at the helm of the main gas giants. These guys aren't just sharing the pie, they're taking the whole bakery.
They let the genie out of the bottle.
While Putin looks for traitors among the people, successors with earpieces are already dividing his inheritance. It looks like the terrarium is about to burst.
I really hope that we will be able to take this chance together.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Russia is literally drowning in its own feces. In the center of Ufa, a vinyl record store has drowned in sewage for the 2nd time in 6 months. A sewage wave covered 500 discs, including collectibles and musical instruments.
This is some kind of nightmare. We've got a leak here. It really smells like shit.
While utility workers spent 20 days deciding who was responsible, for the manhole, the pressure reached its peak and the riser burst right in the sales area.
So what, like Russians? How is that? In what country is this possible?
Meanwhile, at the other end of the Great One, in Yakutsk, real fecal icebergs have grown. In winter, yards were flooded with sewage that froze in a layer of 20 centimeters. Now this ice is actively melting, turning the surrounding areas into foul-smelling lakes.
Well, and in this state, all of this is still here. The smell's here, basically. You have to understand what it's like. Here, too, they scraped off this ice and just threw it like that, as best they could. To all our requests, Zilcom Service claims that it's inconvenient for them to work here. Cars are in the way, and basically just write letters.
While the 5-foot geostrategist drains trillions to seize foreign lands, Mother Russia, slowly but surely, is drowning in shit. A minute of popular love from the freak deputy Vitaly Milonov ended in a fiasco. The main fighter for morality jumped onto the stage of the Chanson of the Year awards to quote Putin'S. But the fans of prison lyrics loudly and clearly told the lawmaker to go to hell.
Let's do it together. Quiet, as in paradise, the stars over the town are high and bright.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Milonov couldn't stand such a disgrace. He cut his speech short and shamefully fled the stage.
Diplomacy is an art. To tell someone where to go, but to do it in such a way that they look forward to the trip.
Import substitution in Russia has officially turned into the destruction of domestic factories for the sake of Chinese manufacturers. The head of the Kuban-Zheldormash plant couldn't take it and posted the cold hard truth on YouTube, which gathered hundreds of thousands of views in a couple of days. The state announces a tender, and the conditions are like something out of a fairy tale.
To take part in the competition, we have to pay... Now I'll tell you exactly. We have to pay 4.5 million rubles. That's the amount of the bid security. Well, here you can use, roughly speaking, a bank guarantee and so on. This is just so that we can submit the documents. If we are suddenly declared the winner, we have to pay another 6,700,000. This is to ensure the execution of the contract. So we kind of have to pay for this and pay for that. And you might ask a reasonable question. I mean, they probably put the money in and they're worried about that money. No. We have to manufacture 561 nut runners with our own money, which we have to get from a bank, take out a loan, and make 561 nut runners. And then for another 45 working days after we ship them, we'll have to wait for the money. Just imagine the conditions. And the amount here is almost 250 million. So we have to make, roughly speaking, 250 million worth of equipment. And the cycle for this equipment isn't something we do in 3 days, you see. We'll be making this equipment, so we physically won't make it by October, which is why we're not participating. Well, besides the financial requirements that we can't meet as an enterprise, we also can't. So effectively, conditions have been created where not a single factory can enter. What happens next? Well, one might ask, who will win then? We have a firm in the Ministry of Industry and Trade with 14 people. Now they've grown to 18 people. Well, because they supply a lot of things to us. They're such great manufacturers, registered in an office, so to speak. And they produce track tools too. And they supply any spare parts and so on. They bring it all from China. They'll bring it from China and supply it, roughly speaking, to Russian railways. What's more, there will be no complaints against them. If they're a month or two late, no one will even have any questions for them. Because those who organize this competition and those who will supply them are practically, one way or another, people are closely connected.
In the end, the budget is being looted, Big Brother gets richer, and Russian factories are dying out, silently watching this whole circus.
Russia must know its place.
That's all for today. Dvizhuka is just gaining momentum. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, we worked hard, and subscribe to stay in the loop. It won't be boring. See you soon.
Good morning.
Tuapse is drowning in oil. A powerful strike by the AFU. It's hell in the city. The old pervert is at it again. Putin is kissing other people's children again.
Success will creep in a bit.
Roskomnadzor has taken on Solovyov. The propagandist faces dismissal and jail.
Of course, I was too emotional.
We will continue to destroy everything in our path until...
Kadyrov is preparing to seize power in Russia, and Shaman vows to keep licking... Baikal.
licking their masters' backsides all their lives.
This is Dvizhuka, a truthful digest about reality in Russia and beyond.